In this video, I'm going to introduce the unit circle, but before I do that, I'm going to do a quick review of an XY plane. So I have this coordinate plane in front of me. Here's our x-axis, here's our y-axis. If you don't remember your quadrants, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you can't remember what they are, I start with the upper right corner, which is 1, and then in the shape of a C, or counterclockwise, it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's just a quick trick. I'm showing you this because the unit circle is actually located on your XY plane. And this is what it looks like. This one is actually pretty zoomed in because you'll notice this is 1, 1, -1, -1 down here. So here's quadrant 1, 2, 3, oops, that's not a 3, 3, and 4. And we've got this circle located actually sharing all 4 quadrants. So the first thing I'll talk about is the fact that this circle has a radius of 1. This point in the middle is our origin, which is the point 0, 0. Notice if I go from this point to this point over here on the right, it's labeled 1, so that means I've gone over 1 to get to this point over here. Same thing at the top, or the side, or the bottom. So our radius of the circle is actually 1. So in any unit circle, the unit circle is the same every single time. The unit circle has a radius of 1. That is important to know. The purpose of the unit circle is so that you can determine different values of trig functions. I'll get into that later. This is just a really quick introduction to what the unit circle actually is. I'll get into its uses in different videos. But for now, we know that it's centered at 0, 0, which is called the origin, and it has a radius of 1. Now you'll notice that there's a triangle drawn in this unit circle. If I know that the radius is 1, and from the center to this point out here, I have my hypotenuse, the hypotenuse must also equal 1, because the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the outside of that circle. So every single triangle that you could possibly draw inside of your unit circle has to have a hypotenuse of 1 because the radius is 1. Now, more about this triangle. We have our angle in here, theta. This angle was formed with this part of the x-axis. Remember, this is our x-axis. This is the positive side of our x-axis. And it was also formed by this line right here, which is called a ray. Remember, you have a starting point and then it goes on forever. So this line is called a ray. So we've got this angle in here, angle theta. This ray can also be called the terminal side of the angle. Now, in the unit circle, if I start here, which you should always start here, this is your starting point. I'll even label it. Start here. You start at your starting point. If you were to go counterclockwise from that starting point, like I did here, we're going to have a positive angle in that triangle. If we go back to our starting point and instead go clockwise, we would have a negative angle. But in this example, We started at our starting point and then moved counterclockwise, so theta has a positive angle measure. The last thing I'll talk about, I'm going to change colors really quick, is this point right here that was made with this ray. Now let's say that the base of the triangle has a side length of x. And let's say that the height of the triangle has a side length of y. Well, if you know the side lengths of your triangle, you know the ordered pair of this point right here. The base is x, which means I would have moved to the right x units. The height is labeled y, so it has a length of y. That means I would have gone up y units. So the ordered pair would be x, comma, y.